alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to my Maktab by LMA with MLX Plus. Today we continue with Umar radiallahu anhu and we conclude with his achievements. There were many achievements during the life of Umar radiallahu anhu that created his government and shaped the whole cabinet. The first thing we're going to speak about is the Consultative Assembly. This was a group of Sahaba that were put together by Umar radiallahu anhu that were in charge of the decision making. Any decisions that were brought forward would first be discussed with the Consultative Assembly. A decision would be made from there, mashwara would be made, and then it would be fought. It would be taken forward. The second one was the Revenue Department. Due to the extensive expansion of Islam, so a Revenue Department was set up and put in place. The revenue had to be taken, everything had to be taken account into the revenue. What was coming in, what was going out, what they were collecting, what they were paying. A book, a record was kept. And this was done with absolute fairness. The third was the customs duty. Goods brought into the country were charged a certain amount. There was a certain amount of levy. So this was also generating income for the state treasury. The custom duties for locals were levied at 5%. For foreigners, 10%. Also, the Revenue Department, the taxes for the people living under the taxes, the jizya, was levied at a more higher price than for the locals. The people, the inhabitants, the Sahaba, they were given a more lenient figure where people living under the zamis, the protective tax, they were charged a higher figure. Number 4, the public works. Canals were dug, roads were built, water supplies were put into place. Umar radiallahu anhu wanted to pave the way to make it a more easy and comfortable way for the people to live. The army. A number of men were drafted as reservists to keep on hand. So when any time they needed to be drafted into the army, they would be called. But all the soldiers were now being given a salary. Women and widows and orphans of men that were in the army were also given a stipend every month so they could continue with their livelihood. At any given time, the soldiers could be called up. Horses and camels were bred for the army. Number 6, education. Teachers were sent out to different masajids to teach children how to read, write, and learn the Quran. Muazzins were also put into masjids and trained for calling out the adhan and taking care of the duties in the masjid. Number 7, justice. Umar radiallahu anhu had always handled this with the utmost care. And like I spoke in the previous lesson, where he meted out the same punishment for his son as he would given to anybody else. There was a little incident where a Christian prince was angry that a man stepped on his robe. And he slapped the man for that. Umar radiallahu anhu said to him that the local man should slap him back and the decision and the matter would be over. This also did not sit well with the prince and he decided to leave Islam and go back to his former religion. So Umar radiallahu anhu did not feel that if you are of a high stature, you were a king, you were a prince, or you had this nobility about yourself, you were somebody of a high ranking, that he would bend the rules for you. In today's time, we see that somehow we tend tend to bend the rules, or we have some gray areas. This was not part of the teachings of Umar radiallahu anhu. This was not part of his legacy. He was fair and he was determined to keep the cabinet without any corruption. He kept everything aloof. Everything was in place. And again, I'm repeating what I said the last time. If we want to know about how governments were set up, it was Umar radiallahu anhu that set up a government and taught the world how to run a cabinet and a government without any corruption. So if we look back, Umar radiallahu anhu's government was very tightly run with no corruption. And this is something we should take from the Sahaba, and we should look back in history and admire these principles of Umar Khattab radiallahu anhu. I conclude with this, and inshallah in our next lesson we will start with Uthman radiallahu anhu. I leave you with that until next time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The kitab that I'm using is Khulafaa-e-Rashideen from the Lenasia Muslim Association.